Hello and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren and today I am going to be looking at a couple of videos from David Mitchell's Soapbox. It's a playlist of just a thing that I guess he used to do. These videos are all pretty old, but I am excited to get to see some of them. So I'm going to watch like 3 of them today because they're all really short. Before I get going, I just wanted to say a quick shout out to channel member Jerry Fravel. You are going to be the first person to see this, so congratulations. You're watching this at the beginning or middle-ish of December. Other people will not get to see it until the end. So, okay, congrats. Thanks for becoming a member. This is what you get. Early content, some extra content. I'm excited to watch some of these. Let me know in the comments below what you want to see more of, and I will make sure that that happens for you. And yeah, I don't want to waste any more time, so we're just going to start watching the first one, and we're going to watch the first 3. I'm excited. Okay.
We are all faced with a series of great opportunities brilliantly disguised as impossible situations. So wrote Charles R. Swindoll, according to the internet. This enervating sentiment is typical.
It's definitely true then, because of the internet.
Of modern business rhetoric. Nothing is bad, a tragedy, a pain in the arse, or a pisser. These things are just opportunities, or at the very worst, challenges. Well, not everything that isn't the way we want it to be is a challenge. Sometimes it's a problem. For instance, there's a lot of talk about the challenge old media like newspapers and TV face from the internet. But it's not a challenge, it's the thing that's killing them. It's not an exciting, inspiring challenge to bring some interest into the otherwise jaded lives of newspaper editors. It isn't a thrilling opportunity to think outside the box. It's a huge threat that's killing them off and which they wish with all their hearts they didn't have to face.
Is that why he is surrounded by sharks in a glass box? He's also in a challenge that's going to kill him?
Not a crossword puzzle, it's a leopard. Climbing a mountain because you want to see if you can climb a mountain is a challenge. Climbing a mountain because while you were at work someone put a mountain between you and your house is a problem. And
okay.
In old media's case, the internet has not only built that mountain, but also placed on top of it old media's mountaineering equipment, heart medicine, and wheelchair. I suppose the point is to encourage positive thinking as a motivational tool. That people are more likely to be energetic and creative about facing a challenge or embracing an opportunity than solving a problem or countering a threat. But is that really the case? Are we so pessimistic we think that as a species we're doomed to founder unless we resort to cheap rhetorical cheerleading?
Yes. Absolutely. 100% yes.
Are we really more likely to focus on a problem if our leaders make it sound like a fun activity rather than a life-endangering menace?
Also yes. Yes. Problems are things to be shoved under a rug and forgotten about until they literally cannot be anymore, at which point it's not just a problem, but a disaster. And a challenge is a competition. We are competitive. We are a very competitive species. So, and sometimes the thing you're competing against is just you, or also, someone being told, well, I bet you can't do it. And that's a challenge, right? Double dog dare you to do the thing. That's a challenge. You want to prove that you're the best and you can win. So, yes.
I'd like to think we're better than that. I'd like to, but I don't.
I don't either, David.
I suspect the challenge mongers are quite right, that the reframing works. It stops people getting too depressed and listless about things that are basically just awful. Up to a point, anyway. But I imagine even they have a job at one another's funerals. We're here to celebrate the life of Darren Smiley, tireless challenge taker and opportunity grabber. And what an exciting time for him this is, as he is presented with his most exciting challenge to date. To force open his lifeless eyes, reboot his defense system, kick apart the coffin, and join us at the wake in time for nibbles. If I know Darren at all, I'm sure he's finding the challenge incredibly exciting, and he'll be relishing the chance to demonstrate that rising from the dead is an opportunity that can only be seized by people lucky enough to have died. Rest in peace, Darren. See you in 20.
All right. Okay. All right, it looks like... Oh, previous episode? This was the first one in the playlist. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Rude. Squashed in. Oh, so he's like on a sushi roll. Oh, that's funny. Okay. I appreciate the different backgrounds that are going to be in every single one of these. And the bad Photoshop. I feel like the bad Photoshop has got to be part of the charm.
Found the sight of people eating together in restaurants oddly touching. All these little islands of people coming together to perform this necessary yet intimate act in the acknowledged presence of the others at their table and the unacknowledged but necessary presence of strangers doing the same thing nearby. Eating together is a leveler. There is still power in the idea of a monarch eating with subjects or leaders breaking bread together. Conversely, Judas's betrayal of Jesus seems that much worse because he had the cheek to roll up to the Last Supper afterwards. There's something particularly shocking about the idea of him tucking into the...
It's a little cold when you put it that way. A little cold-hearted when you... He's already made this decision that he's going to betray his bud. And then he just shows up for dinner. Rude. I never really kind of thought about how, like, cold-blooded that is. Thanks, David, for making me think about that. I will say, though, as a server, it is very funny, like, the conversations people decide to have in restaurants blows my mind. Like, you are in public. Like, I had a table not too long ago, 2 older women, and then, you know, one of them just loudly talking about a breast reduction. It's like, oh, okay, great. Glad you're comfortable talking about that. Also, there's tables everywhere. Maybe not everyone wants to think about that. Like, although I will say there's been some very funny things that I've overheard at restaurants, working in restaurants as well. One time as I'm passing a table, I heard these two people were talking, like, no, Providence is in Rhode Island. And then the response was, yeah, but all the lesbians are in Massachusetts. And I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about, but like, I kind of want to know. I don't know, but like people have breakups. They talk about these like incredibly like should be private like medical sicknesses or something. I saw a girl one time, she was talking to her mother and telling her mother that she's going to be putting her in a home in a public restaurant. I'm like, sorry, that was a tangent, but like the things that people talk about in public restaurants, again, startling sometimes. Like, and then it's like, and then I'm like there, I'm like, hi, I'm standing here at your table, just picking up food, and they don't pause in the conversation. They don't like stop talking about whatever serious private thing it is they're talking about. It's like, did you want to order any food? That's what you're here for. But anyway, just, well, it's wild to me. Always has been.
Set menu and listening to Jesus explain the peculiar new rules about bread and wine, all the while sitting rather awkwardly because of the 30 pieces of silver wedged under one buttock. And this, I suppose, is because eating together always implies trust. Let's demonstrate to one another, we're saying, that whatever else we may be, we're animals that need fuel. None of us is a higher being that's learnt to survive purely on air or electricity or sarcasm. I've often felt that those who are unwilling to eat in public, who refuse to take canapes at parties, who abhor the thought of being seen with a napkin round their neck and gravy on their chin, are subconsciously trying to exert social control. I am above your corporeal needs, they're saying. Eating public...
Either that or they're saying that they poisoned the hors d'oeuvres and they don't remember which one is the dangerous one.
...concedes the need to eat, which hints at starvation and at mortality. I am doomed, says the lady, smiling broadly, with spinach between her teeth. Me too, the grandad with whipped cream in his beard happily concurs. The supermodel sipping mineral water is in supercilious denial. So eating together is a disarming demonstration of our organic status. I'll let you see the odd sideways motion my jaw makes when I'm trying to chew without opening my mouth, and you'll let me see you remove a rejected piece of gristle, and we'll both pretend that this isn't intimate or private at all. Which, when you look at it with fresh eyes, even for a moment, it so clearly is. Showing others what you like to eat and how much and in what style, actually letting friends, family and strangers watch you selecting food, inserting it into your face, crushing it with your jaws and swallowing it. Why in the world should that be universally accepted as public and communal while sex and defecation are private?
What? I mean, this is certainly a take. I was talking about the conversations people have at restaurants, not the act of eating as the weird thing. Okay? That's an interesting take, that eating should be as private as sex.
Perhaps it's just a product of our design, of the fact that our mouths are close to our eyes. We're less embarrassed about our mouths simply because it's impractical to hide them. And if it wasn't, we might instead gather together in 5-star toilets for a chat and a shit.
I mean, didn't the Romans used to, like, all shit together? That was the thing. Like, the public toilets were all, yeah, people used to do that all the time. That didn't used to be as taboo as it is now.
And then, should we find ourselves caught short with an inconvenient hunger, slip away quietly to the ingestatory, pull down our trousers, and gobble up a banana.
Ew.
With which delightful image, farewell.
Ew, thank you, David. Because now I'm just imagining the banana going up the butt. Because I'm a mess.
I find it odd.
Okay, he's in the fridge. Haha, okay. He just keeps going into more and more bizarre places, and I appreciate that. Is he always going to be tiny from now on? Because the first time he was just in a shark tank, but now he's just in places he should not be, and he's small.
British hotels don't seem to be willing to advertise themselves as cheap. They do in other countries. In France, they have those Formule 1 hotels, which are basically police cells, only you don't have to get arrested. In Japan, people are always saying, you can hire yourself what is basically a shelf in a morgue. But here, the obvious market for people who want a cheap, clean, dry, but otherwise horrible place to stay doesn't seem to have registered with chain hoteliers. Or rather, I'm sure they will have thought of it, so their research must indicate British people are uneasy about choosing a hotel room because it's cheap.
I mean, to be fair, I did once stay in a place in North Carolina called the Budget Inn. Yeah, that place was messed up. We came around the back and it looked like a murder shack. And then I don't know, like no one was at the front desk. Then the lady apparently was sleeping in the back when my dad went to go and get, because we were doing like a college tour or something. So when he went to go and get a key or like sign, like can we stay here tonight? It says there's vacancies. She was really mad about that. She gave us a key. The room that she gave the key to didn't open. Like the key did not work. So we're like, okay, great. Now the room doesn't open. So he had to go back, get a new key for the room next door to the room that I'm certain had a corpse in it. And then there's no bed bugs, thankfully. But as soon as my dad turned on the television, the picture was fine for about 5 seconds, and then everything compressed into one, and then the beds were the worst, and the water wasn't hot. And so, yeah, the Budget Inn. Great job, guys.
They need euphemism. Hence the Holiday Inn Express. What the hell is that? The analogy is clearly with fast food or supermarkets, but that doesn't work at all. Express food works because you can kid yourself that you're so busy, this nasty, lovely, horrible, lovely burger is literally the only hot thing you have time to cram into your mouth between your various hectic appointments.
I guess Holiday Inn Express might indicate you'll be here for one night and then you'll go.
It's not a money thing, it's a time thing. This is just not true of sleep. Are Holiday Inn Express saying my night's sleep is going to be quick? Because that's a bad thing. I don't want it to be.
It is a bad
The expressiest night's sleep is no sleep at all. The only thing I want to be express about my hotel experience is check-in. And are the founders of Holiday Inn saying the overcrowded, cheaper offshoot of their main chain is somehow going to be better and more efficient at processing my bank details? I doubt it, Mr. Holiday. I am unconvinced, Mr. Inn. What you mean by express is cheap. And cheap in this context is good. So why not say it? Elsewhere, Travelodge are advertising.
I had not thought of that.
With the help of noted hotel connoisseur Lenny Henry as being what? Again, not cheap, at least not directly. I'd say they're positioning themselves as nicer than you'd think. Surely an odd choice. They're alluding to the cheapness via alluding to the expectation of shitness. They focus on showing comfy beds, a spacious bar, and a bustling restaurant, as if it was a proper hotel, which they don't really want people to think because
I like the it's just so much shade. David Mitchell is really good at the very vague shade, though, that if you think about it for even a second, it's like, oof, ouch, actually, that stung.
Their customers are people who want something cheaper and more basic than a proper hotel. Otherwise, they'd go to a proper hotel. Why doesn't one low-end chain or another take the leap and just say, it's a clean bed, it conforms to health and safety, it's a tenner? But they don't say that. They all say, it's only 45 quid and it's basically got everything the Savoy's got. Maybe it's a British thing. We just can't have a hotel without hinting at a vestigial ballroom. The adverts are persuading you that you could treat your travel lodge in a way you couldn't really and also wouldn't want to. You could have a cocktail here, they're telling us. You couldn't. But you definitely, technically could. You could totally go up to the bar and ask for a cocktail and the barman wouldn't be surprised at all. He'd completely take it in his stride. He wouldn't. Lenny Henry does it all the time. He doesn't. He's always in the bar having cocktails. Obviously, he might not be in the particular day you pick, but he's definitely been there. Basically, we're saying this is a hotel where you might just about conceivably set a murder mystery. And not a Taggart, a Poirot.
Oh. We went Premier Inn, not Travel Lodge. I don't know. But you get the point. Same diff. All right. Okay. Well, that was the first 3 of the David Mitchell's Soapbox. Again, these are really short, so if I'm going to be doing more of them, I'll probably be doing them in chunks like this. He does have a way of making me think about things that I was like, I've never actually considered that. I don't think I ever realized that Express on like the Holiday Inn was actually code for cheaper. Like that, I never ever actually put that together. Granted, I do not stay at hotels all that often. I typically, when traveling, try to only travel to places where I have somewhere free to stay. So it's like, yeah, I'll go visit you in California and I'll stay on your sofa. Or it's like, I'll go visit you, my friend Eric, in Spain and stay in your guest room. So it's like, if I'm traveling somewhere, almost always I have somewhere to stay. Because I'm cheap. I can admit that about myself, that I'm a cheap person. Like, I don't want to spend money. I want to be able to spend money out on the town, wherever it is that I'm staying. I want to be able to spend my money on souvenirs and drinks and food and touristy stuff. I don't want to have to spend money on a hotel also. But because also I've often had, because I have to spend the money to get there too, and that's a pain. So but I never considered Express was code for cheap. Because I just was like, okay, if it's a motel or it's a motel, it's going to be cheaper. Like that's just sort of where my brain goes. Or something like the Quinta Inn or something like that. Cheaper. I feel like I've learned something today, which is the point of this channel. So wonderful, fantastic. Anyway, thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Let me know what I should look at next.